Good afternoon everybody, I hope you're having a great time enjoying this sunny weather. Isn't it great that we've got this sunny weather at the moment? Can you imagine doing lockdown at a time of rain and cold and wind and storm? It would just be incredibly difficult, wouldn't it? So I'm incredibly thankful at the moment that we've got this sunshine, and I'm trying to remain thankful and for lots of things at the minute in order to keep my head right. So it's been a few weeks since doing one of these videos. I can't remember the last one that I did, but I know that I've been meaning to do this video for a while. But life at the moment is just not what it normally is it? So time's been different and how we've been spending time has been different, and that's all good, and I'm not going to bore you with those details. But I wanted just to focus on something that I went through personally last week, and I hope that it's of some encouragement to you at this time. But as those who know me well, or those that have spent any time watching these videos, you will know that I love running. I love to spend time out on my own in the hills, just running through the hills and up the hills and getting muddy and all that kind of stuff. It's the way that I de-stress, it's the way that I declutter my mind, it's the way that I refocus myself and re-energize myself. It's amazing, I love it. I could spend hours a day running through the hills if life allowed me to. But this one day last week, I think it was Tuesday last week, so well over a week ago now, I went for a run and do you know what? It's one of the most difficult runs I've ever done in my life. Now, I'm not saying it was difficult because of the hills that I was running up, or I'm not saying it was difficult because of the distance I was running, and I'm not saying it was difficult because of the pace that I was running at. I was running at a nice leisurely pace, doing a nice easy distance that I can manage without any issues at all. But that day, it felt like everywhere I was running up an incredibly steep hill. Even when I was running downhill, it felt as though I was running uphill. It just felt like my legs were trying to trudge through treacle. They felt heavy, they felt sore, I had no energy, I just could not be bothered with this run. And I was about a mile in, and I felt like giving up and turning around and going home. That's honestly how I felt, and it's not that far. I didn't even want to run back. I wanted to stop and walk back. That's honestly how I felt. It was awful, and I don't have many runs like that, thankfully. But this day it was like that, and it wasn't at all enjoyable. I don't know if anybody can identify with that and had any runs like that. But it got to a point where I just had to give myself a good talking to. I was virtually shouting to myself quietly, because otherwise people around me would have thought that I was a bit weird, seeing this fully grown bearded man shouting at himself as he's running with his little puppy. Not the best look that you want to portray, really. So I was inwardly shouting at myself and saying, "Come on, Rob, you can do this. Keep going." And on the other shoulder, it was almost as if there was like this little figure going, "No, Rob, you can't. Give up, stop running, just walk back now. Stop the watch and just walk back." But I kept fighting against it and kept fighting against it. It really reminded me of that. I think it was a Persil advert that was out when I was a kid. I don't know, it might not have been, I can't remember exactly, but the crux of it is this kid was getting towards his sports day, and he was getting quite worried about the races that he was doing. And his dad takes him to one side and he goes, "Son, all you need is a little bit of PMA." And his dad looked at him as if to say, "What are you going on about, Dad?" And then his dad went, "PMA, positive mental attitude," in a bit of a southern London accent like that. And that's essentially what I was trying to shout to myself on that day. Rob, all you need is a little bit of positive mental attitude. You can do this, you will do this, you've got what it takes to finish this run. But it was incredibly difficult, and like I said, I just wanted to give up. And if you know where I live, there are lots of hills. You very rarely run on the flat. You're either running uphill or you're running downhill. And everything, like I say, seemed to be like I was running up a really steep climb. Where in actual fact, that wasn't the reality of the run at all. That's just how it felt. And I was so thankful when I got to the end of my road and I could see my house in the very, very near distance. It was an incredible feeling. It's like, I've done this, I've got through it. It may not have been the quickest time, I may not have ran it all, I might have walked a fair amount, but I've done it. I have completed what I set out to do. And as I was beginning to kind of reflect on all of that, I began to think that actually the way that run went kind of really mirrored the way that I was feeling that day. Because that day I was feeling defeated. That day I was feeling as though this coronavirus had beaten us, that it was going to be incredibly difficult to bounce back from it. I was like, are we ever going to end this social distancing? Am I ever going to be able to see my family and friends again? It's those kind of almost extreme thoughts that you get at times like this, isn't it? That kind of make you think, we've lost this. We're not coming back. This is life now. This is how we're going to be. And of course, that's not at all the truth. I'm sure I'm not the only person to have felt like this, though. But that isn't the truth. I think what I'd done in my head was that I had made this tiny little coronavirus, as bad as it is, and I'm not at all kind of trying to weaken what the coronavirus is doing around the world at the moment. Of course I'm not, because it is horrific, it is difficult, and lots of bad stuff is happening as a result of it. But what I'd done is I'd put the coronavirus as more powerful than Jesus. And that is a load of rubbish, that is a lie. And so I want to tell you today that no matter how you're feeling today about the world around us, no matter what you're struggling with to do the current situation, that Jesus is bigger than it. And Jesus can meet you right where you are at. And I just want to read out these verses from Hebrews chapter 2, verse 14. It says this: since all his children have flesh and blood, so Jesus became human to fully identify with us. He did this so that he could experience death and annihilate the effects of the intimidating accuser who holds us the power of death. Let me read that again. Since all his children have flesh and blood, so Jesus became human to fully identify with us. He did this so that he could experience death and annihilate the effects of the intimidating accuser who holds against us the power of death. And what's that saying is that we all have flesh. As you know, we all have flesh. But Jesus, God himself, decided to take on that same flesh so that he could fully identify with what we go through each and every day. He did this so that he could experience the death and the pain that we all experience, to essentially annihilate the effects of the intimidating accuser, to annihilate the effects that the devil has, who holds against us the power of death. You see, last Tuesday when I went on this run, it was just a few days after Easter Sunday. And of course, on Easter Sunday, we celebrate and remember the fact that Jesus rose from the dead, showing that he has the victory, showing that he has the power over death, showing that death has lost its sting, it has no control over us anymore. But like I say, showing that he has the victory over all things. All things. And so at the minute we are living at this point where we are seeing the effects of this evil coronavirus. We're seeing the effects that it's having. We're seeing that our loved ones who are dying because of it. But Jesus came to earth so that he could identify with that pain that we're going through right now. He knows that pain that we're going through. He knows it so well. And he came so that he could experience death like we all might experience death, or like our friends have experienced death at this time. He came to experience that. But not just to experience it, but to annihilate the effects that it has on us, so that it no longer, so that the power that the accuser has, or the enemy has, who holds the power of death against us, no longer has that power. It's been defeated. And so if you believe in him, or if you want to believe in him, it starts with a short prayer where you say, Jesus, I want you in my life. I need you in my life. I acknowledge that you are bigger than any of the battles we are going through at the moment. You are bigger than the coronavirus. You know, the coronavirus is nowhere near the size of Jesus. Jesus is far bigger and far more powerful than this virus. So it starts with saying, Jesus, you are more powerful than that. Can I see the effects of your power in my life? Good Lord, I want to see the power of you in my life right now. I want to have a relationship with you, and I want to know you. So if you're feeling like you're defeated at the moment, why not look to the one who has the victory? Why not look to the one who conquered the power that death has over us, and give your life to him and follow him, become one of his followers. Become one of his disciples, so that you can get to know him, so that you can experience the life that is found in him, and you can experience the victory over everyday situations that we need. Give him a go today and give your life to him. Bless you all.